Whether you're new to the One Ring, or have been running or playing since Tor's first edition days, the combat system for the game is unique as compared to the more prominent tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, or other gaming systems. The One Ring forgoes the use of the battle map, and combat is to be done usually within the theater of the mind contacts. But don't let that fool you. The combat rules have a board game feel to it. Not surprising considering Francesco Nepatello's talents in designing board games. So I looked for a way to help everyone visualize the combat and be able to at least use some of the form of miniature for in-person games or tokens for virtual tabletop players. And I believe I've found it. And all thanks to two things. 1. The battle square used for the board game Axes and Allies. And 2. Professor Dungeon Master over at the YouTube channel Dungeon Craft. I therefore present to you the One Ring Combat Circle. The circle is split between the adversaries and the company of player heroes, as you can see here. At the start of combat, the Loremaster decides if there is any opportunity for both sides to have opening volleys, where the distance between the two groups are far enough to allow everyone within the ability for range combat, those with bows, spears, etc., to make a single ranged attack. This is represented by moving the players and adversaries and their tokens into the half circle represented here. Once the opening volleys are done, the players choose each of their stances: forward, open, defensive, or rearward stances, and the Loremaster choosing which adversaries are either engaged in close combat or are unengaged and at a ranged distance. Players and the Loremaster move their respective tokens to the appropriate space on the combat circle, ensuring that any engagement rules are represented with touching bases. Always keep in mind the engagement limits as set out in the core rulebook. Combat goes as per the rules within the core rulebook, with the players having the ability to switch close quarter stances at the start of each round, represented by moving the token to the appropriate side along with any of the engaged adversary tokens attached to it. If by chance the company wishes to flee from combat, the players would move their respective tokens to the semicircular location represented here on the combat circle. For those in the forward or open stances, and otherwise unengaged with the adversary, they choose to go to a rearward stance. And, in the next turn, they escape. For those engaged, players assume a defensive stance, and, on a successful attack, they escape. Adversaries who are not engaged choose to stand back and flee as deemed by the Loremaster. That's it. That's the combat for the One Ring 2nd edition, visually represented on the gaming table either in person or virtually using the combat circle. You can find both a printable PDF version that you can use in person or an image of the combat circle to use at the gaming table or virtual tabletop. And you can find that in the description below. Please comment and let me know if this has helped in streamlining combat for your game and running it, as well as having new players learn it. Special thanks to Professor Dungeon Master for the inspiration. You can find the source of inspiration here on his YouTube channel at Dungeon Craft. Give him a follow, as he's a wealth of old school gaming knowledge and tips for playing and running tabletop role-playing games and other related topics. Again, thank you for listening and thank you for watching and supporting the channel. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to help the channel grow. Again, thank you and happy gaming.